All right, we're going to go live here in just a few minutes. We're just trying to give folks a chance to get in here. Looks like we're starting to get a few people now. So let me start by saying happy Sunday to you. And I do realize that a lot of people that watch on this particular stream are not being impacted directly by the ongoing blizzard across the central part of the country. A lot of people that watch my stream located in Northwest Texas and Southwest Oklahoma, but we do have other people that have joined us that have started following us in other parts of the country. And while we won't do uh, updates all the time in those areas, when there are big storms going on, we're going to try to do a better job of keeping those folks up to date as well. We're on YouTube, TikTok, and on Facebook at this point in time. All right, so of course the blizzard has really developed there across the middle part of the country. You have to forgive me. My dog isn't here with me, and she's picking up everything and putting it in her mouth and trying to bring it to me to play. A blizzard has developed in the middle part of the country. We had a little sleet and ice up that way in places like Kansas City and Wichita, Kansas yesterday. Now it's transitioned into a big wind-driven snow in those areas, and it is piling up. And if you do have plans if you have plans, you already know what's going on up there. You're probably already canceled them because you can't drive in that stuff. I mean, it is a full-blown blizzard. Further east, there's ice developing across the Ohio River Valley this morning and this afternoon. And then down to the south, we got some severe weather ongoing across parts of Louisiana and Arkansas, and that could head over into Mississippi later today. So let's start by taking a look here at what's going on with the winter weather event up north first here. And if you take a look, you can see we're zoomed in on the Kansas City area, and where you see these dark blue colors, and especially where you kind of see a little bit of this kind of this burnt auburn looking color kind of mixed in. Those are the areas that have your heaviest snow there. Those are the real heavy snow areas. I just kind of, sorry, I had to take it off of something there to see that. But this is showing all the rates falling, and it is snowing heavily on the west and north side. Well, most of Kansas City right now is seeing very heavy snow. West and north of there, very heavy snow. And remember, this is wind-driven snow. This is a big snowstorm here. And it looks like it's going to snow for most of the day there in Kansas City. I do expect it to taper off late this afternoon, but places off to the west, I can go to the west here and take a look. And I mean, the weather is terrible over here across a good part of northern and eastern Kansas now at this point in time. Heavy snow in places like Topeka, Kansas, and over towards Manhattan, Kansas this morning. Very heavy snow. If you go down towards Wichita, Kansas, there are some areas of snow. This is kind of the backside of the storm system here is kind of down towards Wichita. And I think that the radar site data may be down there. So let me see if I can get something else. But yeah, there it is. That's the kind of the back edge of the storm system here. And there will be some bands of snow coming in from the north and northeast here for the next several hours. But I don't think there's going to be a huge amount of accumulating snow in northern parts of Oklahoma or even into southern parts of Kansas. I mean, there will probably be a couple of inches, and if you can get in on one of these bands that produce the heavier snow, you may pick up a little bit more than that. But I don't expect big accumulations, but it doesn't take much with the wind at reducing those blizzard visibilities. Remember, when you're dealing with the blizzard, it's visibilities that create the problems here. So if we go a little bit further off to the south into the southeast, looks like we got some severe weather ongoing now down here across the south. We were talking about this a moment ago. Let's pull in the Shreveport radar here if we can, and we'll switch the gears here a bit, and we'll switch over to our severe weather palettes on our well, shoot, I don't want to do that. Give me just a second here. We'll switch over to our severe weather palettes. Oh, if I can do it. Let me a second here. There we go. Let me take these warnings off so I can click on my radar. For whatever reason, it's not letting me click on my radar. So there we go. Sometimes it does that. All right, so what we got going on here, this is our radar site out of Shreveport. We've got two things going on here. Number one, we've got a line of thunderstorms developing along that Arctic cold front now that stretches from, just southeast of Little Rock right down into the western and northwestern parts of Shreveport. Out ahead of it, you've got supercells, semi-discrete supercells that are developing. You've got moisture that's increased. You've got that imbalance in the atmosphere, or that instability that causes thunderstorms to develop here. You got some of that showing up now too, and you got some spin down here in the atmosphere, and that's created an environment that's favorable for these storms to rotate. And unfortunately, when you get these semi-discrete cells out ahead of the thunderstorm line of thunderstorms, they're able to really take advantage of the full atmosphere. They're able to pull in all that energy, and they're able to pull in all that spin. And oftentimes those are the ones that produce the biggest tornadoes. And there's a tornado watch across this area. And I'm afraid that with these thunderstorms out ahead of the line, we're going to see a couple tornadoes with those that, and unfortunately, a couple of those could be strong. We got one of those headed right at Monroe, Louisiana right now. Now, I don't have any confirmations on anything that's touched down with this storm here at this point in time, but I do see a little rotation with that kind of west-southwest of Monroe. There could be perhaps a little tornado maybe trying to develop there kind of south of Interstate 20, southwest of Monroe. This is headed towards West Monroe, kind of over there where the Duck Dynasty guys live, honestly. Do you remember that show that was on a while back? But anyway, that's kind of headed towards Monroe. And we'll watch these other storms that are developing south of there as those two could start to rotate. And there could be quite a few tornado warnings, I'm afraid, this afternoon across northeast Louisiana, southeast Arkansas, and maybe the western parts of Mississippi, generally kind of west-northwest of Jackson, Mississippi. That's where my folks live. And I was there last week, as a matter of fact. We had severe weather last week when I was there. As for the line of thunderstorms moving through the Shreveport area now, this is going to mostly be a wind-driven line of thunderstorms. But even within the line, there could still be some little spin-ups that might try to develop too. And then that's going to move eastward. And I think the line will be the main mode later tonight. But again, it's the supercells that are developing out ahead of it that we're most concerned with at this point in time. So that's the severe weather aspects of things on what's going on right now. Let's try to head up to the north here a bit if we can, and take a look at what's going on in those areas north of here. So if we take a look here, we're up into, let's go back to our winter weather mask here. Well, let's go back here. Boom, there we go. So if we go up into southeast Missouri this morning, it looks like places like Jazzy. Sorry, that's my dog. I think she wants out. Let me let her out. All right, sorry about that. I had to let my dog out. She was in my room with me here. So if you look up into the southeastern parts of Missouri and into these areas up this way, man, there is some freezing rain falling out of this area here now. Cape Girardeau up towards Oak Ridge, south of maybe even into St. Louis. Let's take a look at the radar site out of St. Louis here, at this hour. So if you take a look, it's down, the data is downloading, but look at that mess. Now, the radar is showing snow in St. Louis right now with heavy freezing rain or sleet just south of there. And as the storm system itself gets a little closer, we might see just enough warm air, but maybe push northward to maybe push the heavier snow areas north a little bit this afternoon. But there's going to be a line between a lot of sleet and a lot of snow across southern parts of Illinois, Indiana, and over into parts of Missouri. So those are the areas we'll watch. And even here, too, even though it won't be as strong as the wind is back there into parts of Kansas, there's going to be some blowing snow around this area, too, up there into central and southern Illinois here this afternoon. Now, further to the east here, we got this, and a lot of this purple area that you see on the map here is sleet, especially the really bright colors there. But you get down again towards Cape Girardeau and over here into parts of Kentucky, and there's probably pretty good freezing rain event going on right now in Bowling Green. I think that this will stay north of Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee will get in on this, but I do expect this freezing rain area to spread northward up toward Lexington and maybe Louisville. Louisville will probably wind up being sleet snow area, maybe a little freezing rain, and then you get up towards Cincinnati in those areas. There's going to be quite a bit of a snow up that way here, and then later tonight it'll spread out, and tomorrow it'll spread over into the Virginia. So yeah, that's what we've got going on right now. What about the cold weather aspects of everything going on? Let's try to take a look at that. And I do realize that, like I say, from people that are watching me on here today, I do realize that a lot of people down here in Northwest Texas don't have don't care about what's going on up to the north. But again, we're trying to we're trying to show, some other aspects of weather too here. So let's in other areas. So let's go to, this is the way the storm looks like on the satellite here. Let me move this around a bit here if we can. But there's the storm on radar. You can see that big comma shape feature there. And down here where I live in Northwest Texas, we're on the kind of the back edge of this, the back southwest edge of it now. And I think a lot of those clouds are going to stay away from us, at least for now, as the storm system pulls away. But we're also getting some really cold air on the backside of this too. So let's take a look at that now. Let's take a look at the cold weather aspects of things with this here. So give me a second and I'll pull that in. So I'm going to, of course, this has got the radar on it, and it shows, this actually is a weather computer model that shows all that wintry precipitation now. And it shows, those areas of freezing rain continuing. And some of the latest information is trying to bring some warmer air a little bit further to the north and transitions that freezing rain across parts of Kentucky into just rain. But you get up towards Cincinnati, Ohio, heavy snow and perhaps some sleet mixing in there too at times. And then there's the back edge moving through Illinois and, those areas here this afternoon. Look at all that heavy snow showing up towards Kansas City here this afternoon. And that's just going to continue. Again, this is a long way away from us. This is not impacting us here. So, that is something I'm not sad about, it. So I'm going to, and I'm going to update quickly what's going on later in the week here, down towards Texas and Oklahoma. So just give me a minute. I'm going to change things here. I'm going to show temperatures before we get off of here today, or this morning anyway. So we're going with temperatures, and I'm going to take the satellite off. Let me put this back on here. All right. So if we go down into Texas here in Oklahoma, look at these numbers. Well, first of all, look at how cold it is up to the north underneath that blizzard. You're looking at some of the coldest weather we've seen, so far this season rather. Pretty significant Arctic outbreak. You got single digits up in the Dakotas and Minnesota. Then you got teens into parts of Iowa and down into Missouri and Kansas. That's where it's snowing this morning. And then you can see those colder temperatures extending to the east there. And then there's the warmer side of things where the severe weather is down across the south. But if I jump into Texas here, it's cold. Guys, it's cold outside. So in Wichita Falls right now, it's 32 in Frederick, 34 in Vernon. And with sunshine out there today, strong north winds, we got what's called cold air advection. I don't know that we'll see a huge rise in temperatures, but it could bump up a little bit, but not much. Look at Lawton's at 29 this morning. And then you go into, Duncan's at 30. You go up towards Oklahoma City and low to mid 20s. So it's cold no matter where you're looking at here this morning. Then you throw in the wind, which is, very strong. And that's going to look at those wind chills, or those, I call it real feel, up into Oklahoma City at 6 and 8 there. Feels like 16 in Lawton. Feels like 18 to 20 in the Falls now. And throughout the day, our real feel, our temperatures, our wind chills are going to stay in the 20s, and then maybe even late in the day drop into the teens. So it's going to be, it's just going to be a cold day, a cold night, and the week ahead looks pretty cold as well. So it's really too early for me to really get into too much about the upcoming possible winter storm across the south here. We talked about it last night. I've had some stuff that's been, posted on, well, Christy, we can take a look. So we got a viewer on here wanting us to look at Monroe, Louisiana. So why don't we do that real fast? While we're on here, let's look at Monroe, Louisiana. Remember, I've got to, change where I'm looking at here. So give me just a second. So I got to go down here back into Louisiana, and there is the tornado warning that I was, tracking there down to the south. One thing about this radar product, this is called GR level 3, I think it is. It's a good little system, but I mean, I hate the fact that you got to, when you scroll down, it takes away those areas on that map. But anyway, there is our tornado warning. And this tornado warning is just southwest of Monroe. Now that's where the warning is for this cell here, and that cell is, kind of into the Eros area, just north of Chanham. It's kind of a odd looking shape. You don't have the classic supercell appearance to it. But if I take a look at the velocities on here, it's a good ways away from the radar site, but I do not see a lot of rotation in that thunderstorm at this point in time. I really don't. A little weak rotation west of Eros, so I don't know. It probably will. I would think that some type of a warning will get probably extended up into Monroe, but I don't know that it's going to be anything too major. It just doesn't look that nasty to me. There's a little bit of rotation. You can kind of see this little lull and this little darker red area there between Vernon and Eros. It's a little weak rotation, a little spin in the clouds. I don't. It doesn't look like much to me though. I mean, earlier there looked like to me there might have been a little tornado earlier in this thing, but it appears to me that to have kind of weakened since then some. And I'm not sure what's going on with this thing now here. It's not letting me do what I wanted to do. But anyway, that's where the little rotating part of the thunderstorm is at this point in time. So, I'll keep an eye on that, but I don't think it's too bad at this point. But Monroe, keep an eye to your southwest. It wouldn't take much for that to spin up a little bit. So just keep an eye to the sky, honestly. And then you got these other thunderstorms developing kind of out ahead of that main line. They too might have a chance to rotate some. So, and we can go out of Jackson here to DGX and see if it picks up any of that. It's probably on the edge of the radar system there too, I'd imagine. Yeah, it is. So we really can't see much out of that. So, but we'll watch and see. I mean, there's other storms developing kind of down towards the Alexandria area and west of there. And again, those will have a chance to spin a little bit. So if you're in central and northeast Louisiana, eastern Louisiana, southeast Arkansas, watch out. The storms develop out ahead of the line. We'll have a chance to spin some, and there could be a couple tornadoes with those. So keep an eye on that. As the line overtakes it this afternoon, your main threat then is mostly going to be wind and then spin up type tornadoes. There was a bunch of spin ups last week with those lines of storms pushing on through. So, so we got Katie that says that she is. You're welcome, Crispy King. We got a viewer here visiting my mom in Kansas right now. We're covered in snow, and it's nasty up there. So it is. It really is. So I understand that. All right, so let's stop. And if you have any questions, I can always go back to these things. I'm not going to stay on like a super long period of time. I got a lot to do today, but I'm just wanted to come on here and update things for a bit. So, So what I wanted to do was quickly talk a little bit about the possibilities of winter weather in Texas next week or later this week. It's really too soon to really get much into the details of everything because they haven't sorted themselves out yet. It's too soon to be posting, and I know they're all over social media, but that's just what those guys do. And I've learned to just accept it. Okay, I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. So the only thing that I need to do about things is just do the best that I can at giving you the best information. And as long as I do that, then that's all that really matters. So, so I'm going to widen this a bit. And again, it's too soon to be focusing on snowfall amounts and that kind of thing, because this is something we're looking at, Thursday, late Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday time frame. A lot of uncertainties. A lot of things can change between now and then. The storm track is everything. If it's too far west, you may get too much warm air. You may not get. You may wind up with rain or sleet as compared to snow. If it's too far to the east, you don't have enough moisture. So you have to be sitting in the sweet spot to get it. And I'll say this, that the European computer model has been very, very consistent with storm track across the far northwestern, basically right along the coastal sections of Texas, which would be, there in the southeast Texas, west central Louisiana, east central Texas is ideal for a big snow for northwestern part of Texas. The upper level pattern looks good for snow, but not ideal but it doesn't look bad at all. Okay, so this is going to be from the NAM computer model. It doesn't quite go out far enough to really show what's going to happen, but there's the storm system from today getting on out of here. And then this is This is towards the very end of the period here. And if you take a look, this is showing snow. This would be late Thursday afternoon, and this is showing snow trying to develop late Thursday afternoon and increasing across southwest Texas. So what this tells me here is there is a storm, and I know the storm is just west of here, and it shows precipitation is already starting to show up. And this tells me that this would likely expand Thursday night and into early Friday further north and east. So if these trends continue, and again, this is on the NAM model, then I'm going to start thinking that we probably will see a winter storm to the northwest of that storm system there. The old GFS, which has been so freaking inconsistent, I can't really get on board with it. It's so inconsistent, but it does show, some ice across parts of Texas and some snow on the north side of that, snow for maybe Dallas and the Wichita Falls, those areas. But this computer model has been flip-flopping like a fish, and that's what they do. That's why you can't really throw out snowfall projection totals at this point in time, because it's still several days away, and it'll flip-flop a dozen times between now and then. So what you look for at this point in time are trends and consistency. GFS has not been consistent, but the European has been. It doesn't look too much different than the GFS, but it has more. And this would be, again, Thursday night into Friday. If these trends continue, then we'll probably put first alert weather days on Thursday and Friday. And then, we could see some significant issues in terms of winter weather. But again, the issues here are storm track, temperatures at that point in time, because at that point in time, this Arctic air is going to begin to modify. But there's some more. Another surge is coming in on the backside of that system. So that could compensate that. Exact areas and exact amounts of precipitation, and those won't be determined for still a couple of days. So just keep an eye on things. Keep an eye right here, or whoever you like to watch. Keep an eye on that. That's what I suggest that you do. Just keep an eye on all of that. And, just if you have questions, you can ask me and I'll be sure to try to answer them. I feel like my videos last night I put on YouTube and everything sucked. They really sucked really bad. I don't do good on YouTube. Some of these guys that are on YouTube, these YouTube weather enthusiasts and whatnot, there's actually a system that they use. It's something that they do. And they create these really cool thumbnails, and they create these these big flashy graphics the algorithms like. And they've got their little studio thing set up just right. I don't have mine where I want it. If you look at what Cameron had last night, boy, he looked great. That's what I want. I want to do something like Cameron does. So I'm going to try to work to develop something like that if my wife will let me. So far she has not been a big enthusiast, a big enthusiast of what I wanted to do. So hopefully I can change her mind on that. But anyway, I've got a lot going on today. I got to go get to work. I'll have updates. Probably another update this afternoon at some point, a live update. I'll probably post some videos, even though I don't really like what I'm posting. I like I've been doing TV weather for a long time, over 20 years. And I like having a graphics, like a good graphic system that you can pause and you can show good graphics with it. But, this stuff here, you're having to show these models and whatnot, they just don't look that good. And it's hard to be able to really tell a good weather story that way. So I really want to try to do a better job of trying to find a graphic system that I can use. I mean, I can always use the one from work, but it's hard to do. It's hard to get there and use that here. So because I have to go through some other channels to get it working. But I'll try to shoot some videos out later today. And especially we'll have a weather after dark and the special weather after dark with Cameron probably tonight. We may try to bring some guests in as well on that. So if you haven't followed my pages yet, then go ahead and do so. You can find me on Facebook, First Alert 6 Chief Meteorologist Ken Johnson. Make sure to like that and follow that. My YouTube page, and I don't even know what my YouTube name even is. I think it's just Ken Johnson, Meteorologist Ken Johnson. It's something lame. I need to do a better job than that. Of course, I could do something real catchy like Max Velocity. I'll have to admit that's pretty cool. I like his name. I've given Max a lot of problem, a lot of grief. But you know what? Old Max Velocity may not be that bad. I watched him say some stuff about some weather yesterday, and I really, it actually made sense. I was like, he may not be as bad as I thought he was. Of course, Ryan Hall has the Y'all Squad, and even though I think he's real corny and cheesy. He's got a great brand there. So I need to come up with a better brand myself. So, all right, guys, y'all have a great Sunday. Stay warm. Be safe. Stay off the roads in Kansas and up there in the Midwest, and watch for that severe weather in the South. And if we need to do any more updates today, we will. Like I say, I'm busy today. I'll update as I get the opportunity to. Y'all have a great Sunday, and we'll see you later on this afternoon. Be looking for the updates this afternoon.